See, now I'm thinking about butt hairs. I don't want to be thinking about butt hairs right now. Excuse me? Things just get steamy. His parents are loaded with a capital L. Good for you, girl. Good for you. Am I the O for gifting my daughter presents meant for my husband's side piece? Oh. I have finally entered into my new era, my sports era, because I finally watched a whole Super Bowl from beginning to the last second of the game, not just for the ads and not just for the halftime performance. I have to say though, the ads, I feel like they were less inspired this year. The Pringles mustache ad though, my favorite by far. It was a pretty good game. I learned a lot of new lingo like interception, snag, smackdown. Dang, I just had it. I just had it. Something that happens when the quarterback just gets slapped down or something. He gets interfered with. Sacked. He gets sacked. So a lot of interesting new lingo. It was fun watch, and I think it was a pretty exciting game. I mean, I'm even sporting green today because of the victory. Getting into the festive spirit. Now, today's theme is not in my house. We all tend to have habits, quirky things, maybe just our preference of way of doing things. And when it's in your house, who cares, right? Because it's just you in your comfort zone. But what happens when other people are involved? I think things can get a smidge hairy. And let's find out what OP's going to do in these stories today. Let's dive into it. Our first story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the O for gifting my daughter presents meant for my husband's side piece? I can feel it. Pettiness is wafting in the air already. Let's see what OP says. Back in 2018, we went on a Christmas trip to see my now ex-husband's sister, Jill. He was acting strange and would not talk to me. His sister, whom I've only met one time before, ignored me. We had presents sent to her house, so we did not have to pack them. I was wrapping presents, and Jill went outside for a period. He would not tell me what they were talking about. When we went to pack up, Joe was very concerned about his backpack. Only he could touch it. I thought this is odd, but whatever. A month prior to leaving, I found a prepaid card in his wallet. I took it to see what he would say. He asked about it and said it was for work. I found it and gave it back to him. About a week later, I asked if he was having an affair. He said no, and I dropped it. We have not been in love for quite a while, and I knew we were heading towards divorce. Upon returning from the trip, something told me to look in his backpack. So while he was showering, I looked and found 2 bracelets and a gift bag. I took the 2 bracelets and hid them. All was well until he went to the car to leave. He came storming in demanding I give the bracelets back. I simply replied, "What bracelets?" He said he bought them for me for our anniversary next month. He knows I don't wear bracelets and actually hate them. Why would he be freaking out if the bracelets were for me a month later? He stormed out and we didn't talk about it again. I was finally able to get in his phone and discover text messages confirming the affair. Part of me didn't care because we weren't in love, but I still felt betrayed. 2 years later, we're divorcing. I'm cleaning out our rooms, helping him pack. We had a very amicable divorce. While cleaning, I found the 2 bracelets I had hid years ago and forgot about. I didn't want them, but our middle child, female, 15 years old, loves jewelry. We were separated but decided to have Christmas at our house together. So Christmas morning comes and kids are opening gifts. The look on Joe's face as our daughter opened the bracelets was priceless. They were rose gold, her favorite. Her face was beaming with joy, and he sat there looking at the jewelry like a deer in headlights. So, am I the O for gifting jewelry to my daughter meant for my husband's side piece? The strength of the pettiness in this first story is so strong, guys. I mean, I'm so used to OPs being extremely devastated and asking for advice. But I have to admit, this one feels more like a little bit of a flaunt. OP, do you really care if you're the a-hole or not? I don't know, but is it a little bit awkward to gift your daughter something that you know was intended for the side piece? A smidge, might be a little bit awkward. But the bracelets are brand new and technically they are harmless. And if we were to play with semantics, husband said that the bracelets are supposedly for OP back when they were married. He was gonna give them to her on their anniversary. So if you really think about it, she's just regifting something that her ex-husband gave to her to their daughter. I don't see anything really wrong with that. On principle, it's a little bit A little bit awkward, but maybe a smidge petty, but I don't think Opie did anything wrong here. Although I would pay money to see the face of the husband or ex-husband on Christmas Day, to see his face. The daughter's jumping with joy. She's like, "Oh, look, daddy, I got this pretty bracelet." And he's just like, oh, looking at it like, oh, it's one of those moments where he knows that she knows. By she, I mean OP, ex-wife. So he knows that she knows that he did what he did. And there's proof of it now. So I think it's kind of like a harmless, petty move. I am going to say not the a-hole. Purely because technically husband did gift it to OP. What are your thoughts?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to find something wrong with it, but I can't seem to be honest.
We're on the same page on this.
I think as long as the kid, I guess, is not aware of it.
Yeah. I guess that is the question. Do you tell the kid at that point or do you not tell the kid? And would it even matter? Would the kid care?
I mean, if it was already gifted and somehow came back, then I would feel worse about that. I don't think it would be the right thing to do.
Like, you mean if daughter knew?
Well, daughter knew, but also if those bracelets were somehow made it to the side
Oh.
piece and then
And then it came back
yeah,
into daughter's
then
hands. Yeah, that would be weird.
that would not feel right.
Yeah.
But since I guess they were never gifted
Hmm.
before, and yeah, they were never gifted to anyone before, and I guess they're
They're
not.
brand new. I think they're still brand new. So,
I mean, the only thing you could argue is that the intent of them were kind of it's cheating, essentially.
yeah. It's a cheating gift. It's almost like a love token of infidelity.
Right, right.
Ew.
Yeah.
But if the bracelet is cute, why not? Otherwise, it's just going to collect dust, right? And what are your alternatives? Are you going to then give it to the ex husband now and say, oh, by the way, I knew you were cheating on me, but here are the brand new nice rose gold bracelets back so you can give it to your lover?
I mean, you could sell them and get something else,
Well, that's true.
right?
You could sell them. I don't know how well they'll hold value, though, unfortunately,
Yeah.
with reselling jewelry. And daughter seems happy. So I don't know. I feel like it's fine as long as daughter's happy. And it, like you said, it's not like a used gift. Like it was gift already used and then went back to daughter. But let's see what some of the comments say. We do have an edit. So hold up for that. First comment, not the whole, you just regifted something he had said was meant for you. I'm feeling the technicality. Oh, I still really wish we could see the facial expression of the husband just being like, the, oh my gosh, she knows moment. Like she knew all along. Another comment. If you're the a-hole, come sit by me and let's dish. I like it. The comments are feeling very much girls supporting girls vibe. Let's see what the edit is though. First edit. Some have strong feelings about gifting bracelets to my daughter and her feelings if she finds out. I have no intention of telling her. Joe will not say anything. He denies the affair completely when talking to other people. He has also since abandoned the kids. He moved out of state without telling them and only contacts them on holidays and birthdays. The only way she would find out is if I would tell her. I feel like OP kind of dodged a bullet. That's kind of gross because I am all for the idea that you might be the worst partner in a relationship ever, but you might not necessarily be a bad parent. Like, I think those two are not synonymous. Like, sometimes you could be a great parent, even if, you as a husband or a partner or whatever, you're really bad at that. But the fact that he just dropped the entire family and still insists, oh, it was never an affair. What a coward. I'm getting such massive X. Obi, honestly, I think you dodged a huge bullet here. If anything, I think the bracelets are evidence of his embarrassment and shame. Like, I doubt that he'll say anything because then it'll just prove that, oh, yeah, I definitely had that affair. I almost feel like there's no harm in not telling the daughter. But once she gets older, because she's 15 now, right? So she's, I think, old enough that you could have a somewhat mature conversation with her and she might understand. I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in the daughter's shoes. Like, would I want to know such a thing? I don't know. At that point, I'd just say, It's a pretty bracelet. It never made it to the side piece. So what do I care? Almost. So there is no verdict on this story yet. It's still pretty new, 3 days old, but it was upvoted 11,600 times. So people had some things to say about this. I'm glancing at the comments. Everyone is saying, well, actually, there is one a-hole comment here. They said justified a-hole, although I think this is more hero for humanity a-hole. Okay. Okay. Maybe we do need a new classification. Justified a-hole. I support that too. Or not a-hole. That was our first story. And we're starting with the gifting of things, although an unexpected gift for sure. If you guys are enjoying this one or have thoughts of your own on the story, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe, guys. Although, if you are listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to rate this one 5 stars. I hope you guys are ready for the next one. It is our wild pick. Now, wild pick is just that, a story that's a little bit out there, but when I looked at it, I thought I need to get your opinion on this. This one is from the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for opening and using a 2008 Lego Star Wars set I got for my birthday that cost my friend a couple $100s? I had my birthday about a month ago, and I was flabbergasted seeing the Lego Star Wars 2008 Republic gunship fully boxed. My friend didn't even mention an exact amount, just that he spent a lot to get one since I've always been a Star Wars fan. And when he saw someone selling that, he knew it was worth it, especially since, while he's not rich, he's a little better off than I am, monetarily. I really didn't care about actually getting anything, or at least not something that expensive since I've never gotten a gift that expensive before. But I really thanked him and hugged him, which I usually don't out of awkwardness. But I really appreciated it. Oh, that's such a good gift. You know my favorite types of gifts? They're the gifts that show that you really know someone. And it could be something as, what is that? There's that movie, is it Me Before You or something like that? Where I remember the movie's about this couple and this girl, I guess the guy gets her a gift, right? Well, okay, this is going to sound bad, but her boyfriend got her like this really sparkly necklace and she was like, "Oh, cool, thank you." And then her at the time friend, without spoiling too much, don't you shake your head. It's
Friend.
okay, it's somewhat problematic movie relationship wise, but regardless. But her friend at the time got her these yellow and black striped stockings, right? And she started screaming. She starts jumping up and down, really making a scene. And you could tell that's a gift she truly wanted. And it's because she was talking about how, oh, I've always wanted these bumblebee looking stockings and I never got it. And yet her boyfriend got her this, really, really nice necklace, but clearly something that she would never wear and something that's not with her style or what she wanted. And yeah, it looks bad on the boyfriend and her too, to be honest, in that moment. But that's the type of gift I think just lights up someone's world. The gift that makes you go, "Oh, that is such a sweet gift, so thoughtful. This person really thought about the person in mind." So I'm loving it. It's very wholesome so far. I am not a Star Wars fan, so I'm having a little bit of a hard time picturing what the Lego Star Wars 2008 Republic gunship is. But I'm imagining I'm pulling my Big Bang show watching brain out and thinking, okay, it's something, probably like a tan beige spaceship looking thing. And maybe there's like a little mini Legos Dark Vader on the side of it. And it's probably like super cool. And it's one of those like huge Lego sets, like adult Lego sets, maybe something like that. Now, OP says, anyways, a couple days ago when he visited, he saw it was now sitting on my shelf with all the minifigures by it, and he seemed kind of shocked, almost disappointed. He said stuff like that loses its value if it's unboxed, and you're not supposed to open rare things, etc. But I find value in actually using things. I know that thing is over 15 years old now, but I've never understood that mentality. If I could just look at boxes in stores or on the computer, they aren't worth anything to me if I can't actually use it. And so I open and use everything I get, no matter the price. I guess I just don't have that collector mentality or whatever. But who is the a-hole here? I know I got it as a gift for my birthday, but he also spent a lot apparently, and judging by his reaction, I felt bad. Now, this is the true dilemma, guys. I have a question for you before we dive into OP's problem. When you get something new, like a collectible item or new tech thing, or I don't know, a cute jacket or really, really cute handbag, do you cut the tag off and use it right away? Or do you hoard it a little bit? Like do you keep the plastic on the tech a little bit longer? Or, or do you treat it as a collectibles item and it's too precious to use right away? Why are you giving me a look? All right, what do you do?
Use the item.
But aren't there some things that it's almost like too precious? It's like you don't want to like open it right away. You kind of just want to look at it, admire it.
Unless it was gifted to me as a collectible explicitly as that, then yeah, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna use it.
Oh man. See, this is why I don't collect things, guys, because I know myself. For example, I read manga and I love like cute girly figurines and stuff. I like the Pop Mart stuff. Oh my gosh, that's all the rage right now. What is it? The Snoopies? It's not Snoopies. What is it? The Smurf babies. That's not right either. It's the snow baby things. It's the one that look like little babies with like the little angel wings on the back. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know. I don't know what they're called.
Anyways, so they're really cute. And that and the Labubus. The Labubus, which are those like furry little smiley monsters that a lot of girls have been hanging on their bags. I think they're cute. I would never collect them because it would be so dangerous to me and my wallet. I would put them on a shrine. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I would build a shrine. It would have its own little corner in our house. And I would just admire. I wouldn't even want to touch them. I wouldn't open them. That's the problem. Oh, if you guys could only see the look of M, my fiance, chiming in here, rolling his eyes and shaking his head like, mm. He's the one that forces me to actually unbox things and unpackage things. Ugh, it hurts my soul sometimes. So let me know. Are you guys the type to, you know, especially if it's a nice thing, like admire, maybe hold on to the item in its original packaging for a little bit longer or forever? Or do you just like go crazy and like use it or open it right away? Let me know. I kind of see OP's logic here. Obviously, he's gifted this Lego set, and especially with Legos, I think a lot of the fun is in putting it together, right? With Legos, like you put it together and then you get to see the final product and display it. Like it's a nice thing to have. Like I think it's kind of like fun, but also collectible item in that way. But then I also feel the friend's pain of, man, I paid so much money for this to be fully new, never been opened before. And then thinking that your friend's gonna, use it as almost like I don't want to call it investment item, but display piece as is, and then just seeing it completely broken into. I know that can be heartbreaking, but I don't think either are a-holes here. They're kind of both somewhat justifying their feelings about it. Then again, once you give a gift, I think it's up to the owner or up to the new owner what they're going to do with it. So no a-holes, but I feel the pain on both sides. I am leaning towards OP though, in the sense where I don't think he did anything wrong with actually using the gift that he got. What do you think?
I don't think there's anything wrong with him using it,
Yeah?
even though they have different opinions about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just difference of opinion, and I guess you're right to point that out. As soon as you gift something,
It's gone.
I mean, you can technically still be an a-hole if you, for example, I don't know, like break the gift in front of
Oh, yeah.
someone.
If you're like really mean and cruel about it.
Well, no, just if someone gives you something and you just like, I don't know, break the gift just on purpose or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
Like
okay.
being like nasty or being intentionally like malicious about it.
Right. But other than that, if you just decide not to use it or decide to use the gift or play with the gift, whatever, assemble the Legos, that's
That's on you.
I don't see
Do
a
you,
problem with that.
do you think the friend's justified in how upset they are though?
I don't know. I don't think they are. I can see their point, but I don't think they are. I would think that they needed to maybe make it clear.
Yeah. I think if that was the intent of the gift, like I want you to keep this as a collectible unopened box,
Right.
and then it will grow in value later on. Because I think there's also the mentality of not everyone's aware of the value of some of these collector items, especially if they're like Lego set. Like I think the normal mentality, like initial reaction is, oh, cool, now I get to put something together. So, oh, and fun fact, by the way, guys, I guess in the past year, some of these surprise gifts, either for occasions or for birthdays, I've gotten M like some really cool, well, if I do say so myself, some really cool Lego kits. They're all like Technics, like the Lego Technics car sets. What are these? One's a McLaren type of car. See, honey,
Mhm.
I'm the reason you own a McLaren.
Not a real one.
No, no, it's the Lego one, but still nice, right?
Yep.
What's the other one? Is it a Porsche?
Yeah, Porsche.
So, ladies, if your man or your partner is into Legos, I'm telling you, some of those Lego adult kits are really nice. Especially for girls, they have like the bouquet ones, like they have the chrysanthemum Lego kits or the like one of those like floral like sets. They're really nice. They're actually really cute. So, OP, I will say no a-holes here. Very rare verdict. I don't know if I've ever had that verdict on the channel.
Yeah. I don't think that OP's friend is an a-hole, but his reaction, I don't know. I would have maybe kept it to myself in that case.
Yeah. But maybe they're close enough. It doesn't seem like it's something to break up the friendship over, though. It seems
Oh,
like
of
they're
course
both
not.
chill. It's just like a little hiccup. So very surprising, but let's see what people say. First comment from Difficult Thought. Not the whole, I'm a Lego fan, and there's absolutely two sides to this hobby, collectors and builders. Oh, I didn't know there was a divide in the community on this. But something bought as a gift, be it by a builder or collector, is then the recipients to do with as they please. I absolutely agree. Oh, we actually have someone who shared their own hobby too. Absolutely, I'm a bit of a whiskey collector, and my dad likes whiskey too. I've bought a handful of very hard to find whiskeys, and most of them are unopened unless I can manage to get a second. I like to get my dad rare whiskeys for special events like birthdays, Father's Day, etc. Even if I don't have them in my collection yet, and he always opens them. I will never stop buying them for him, and I'm glad he enjoys them. Plus, he always opens them when I'm around, so I get to taste it. But still, oh, hmm. See, when I think of collecting things, I think of physical inedible things for drinks and snacks. Like, I know there are people who actually buy like the old, like vintage, I guess, like Coca Colas and the Sprites and Pepsis and all that. Do people actually drink them though? Or do they buy them just to have them unsealed in their collection to look at? Because on one hand, I'm thinking, I'm trying to understand the joy behind it because you don't get to taste the victory or the collecting part, if that makes sense. And then don't they change color because they're consumable items? So I mean, I'm thinking back to one time I watched this YouTuber, 50-year-old like Coca-Cola or something.
I think it was Pepsi or
Oh,
something.
Pepsi, and he got violently ill. And I'm thinking, what is the appeal? Someone tell me what is the appeal in consuming like things that are edible or like even old candies? You can't do anything with it. It's interesting. Have you ever collected anything like consumable or would you ever want any like old item?
Uh, Perhaps, but maybe it's gonna sound controversial, but I think that items that are like practical items, even I'm gonna go to even extent, let's say cars, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely car collectors. Now,
Ah,
if
yeah,
you
that's
are,
true.
you collect, I guess collecting the cars and using it as an investment, I can see that maybe you don't
Okay,
want to
yeah.
use the car, but
Yeah.
other than that, even if it's an expensive car, I think you still want to be able to use it and drive the car, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of waste for it to be sitting, parked in the garage or something and not used.
That would hurt my soul. See,
Yeah.
I'm not a car girly, guys. But there's a trend where it's like, if I make it, like you wouldn't be able to tell, but there will be signs. Like it's a trend where people will show like examples of things that they really love to collect or dive into if they were to hit it big, so to speak. I think mine would be, well, first off, my shrine, I told you guys before, of maybe like shrine of plushies or novels of fiction books, romance fiction books, and manga, all of that. But then also, I think the only car I would ever want to collect is a Pagani, a red Pagani, very specifically. I don't know cars, but I watched one of like the car reviews with M once, and I just remember the car looks so cute. It's like a little bumblebee, like a red, like, well, red little beetle. That's what it looks like. It's really cute. I don't know what model it is. I just know it's a Pagani. It looks really
It's
cute.
very expensive.
Yes. So there will be signs if I ever make it. You wouldn't know, but I guess you would know by extension of the sign. Another comment, not that when you give a gift, you have no control over what the recipient does with it. Also, where's the fun in not putting together a Lego set? That's what I'm saying, especially with Legos. So there is a verdict on the story, and Reddit has determined it not the whole. And I'm in agreement. I like this one. If you guys have a hobby, let me know. Like a hobby with collecting something. Or if you did have the resources to do so, what would you collect and why? Our next story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the old for kicking out my brother and his pregnant girlfriend out of my house? I, 28-year-old female, know this sounds terrible, but please bear with me. My brother, 24-year-old male, is the only son in our family, and I don't know about anywhere else, but in an Asian family, it's basically a given that he was treated better than my older sister and I growing up. Our father passed away right before my brother graduated high school, and our beloved mother decided it was a good idea to make my sister and me pay for his college tuition because my father paid for our tuition until we graduated. For the record, I don't make tons of money. It's above average, but I'm not exactly swimming in cash. Plus, I work long hours. The economy sucks these days. So true, girl. So true. Now I'm married. I proposed to this beautiful man, 28-year-old male, I've known since middle school after he got into a terrible accident that caused him to lose almost all of his motor skills. He was in a coma for about 2 weeks, and I swore that if he ever woke up, I'd marry him. So I did. I'm a woman of my word, after all. He also lost his job because of the accident, but he still has income from his investments, and his parents gifted him one of their properties to rent out afterward. Yes, his parents are loaded with a capital L. Good for you, girl. Good for you. Even without financial trouble, I still watch him fall into a deep slump, struggling with depression because he had been robbed of everything he knew his job, his active outdoor hobbies. He couldn't walk for almost a year, and to this day, he still can't stand or walk for too long, even with his cane. He was in a dark place until about a month before our wedding. Now, almost a year into our marriage, I can see the light starting to come back into his eyes after getting really into cooking and baking, to the point where he revamped our entire kitchen to fit a bigger oven and store all of his baking equipment. He's actively researching how to get a permit to start a bakery, and I love seeing it, even after 3 weeks of eating sourdough bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, this is so wholesome. Like moments of tragedy in relationships, it can depend. I think for some, it's a rough patch, and some couples never make it over the bump, so to speak. And for some, it really, really strengthens their relationship, how they're able to overcome the difficulties together. And this is so sweet. First off, so cool. OP actually proposed to her beautiful man. Good for you. Good for you. And it seems like he's loaded. I'm just saying it's really nice attribute when your man is beautiful, amazing as a human being, has great character, and he happens to be loaded. That's good. Like give me the K-drama prince any day, you know? So good for you. But then also love that he went through that slump and now he's picking himself up and figuring out what he wants to do. And really, I think it's nice that OP also gets to enjoy okay, maybe not sourdough bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A little bit of overkill. But your man also cooks and bakes? Hello? I good for you. Good for you. I'm so happy for you, OP. So I'm wondering, where does it all like go down? Where does this all crash, right? Opie says, back to my brother. He and his girlfriend got pregnant by accident. He's currently job hunting, having graduated 2 years ago. He started a business right after college, but yeah, you probably know how that goes. It failed after he spent almost all the money our father left to us, his 3 children, as inheritance. That caused a rift between him and my oldest sister. I don't blame my sister for being furious because he also spent her share of the inheritance after paying his tuition. And if you know anything about Asian families, you know the oldest daughter has it the hardest. Kudos to that. So true. So true. I feel that. He's also not on really great terms with our mother because of the unplanned pregnancy. She's not exactly against his girlfriend, but she's not thrilled either. However, he's still the golden child, and that's why she asked me, her newlywed daughter, to let my brother and his girlfriend stay in our house until he finds a job. Since I live in a big city, she assumed it would be easier for him to get hired here. I asked my husband if I could rent one of the rooms he owns to accommodate them. My husband, being the absolute angel he is, said that since what he owned aren't exactly suitable for long term living with a baby, he'd see if he could remodel one. They could move in once it was ready and only start paying rent once my brother got a job. In the meantime, they could stay in our upstairs guest room. He is an angel. That is so sweet to offer. Oh, Opie, I love your relationship with your husband. I have to say, I'm super annoyed with the mom and brother so far, though, because golden child to a T. What do you mean the inheritance for all 3 children were completely spent on one, and it doesn't seem like the other 2 agreed to it? So it paid for his tuition and his failed business? I just know father's rolling in his grave right now. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, this is not gonna end well.
No. No, and I don't agree with the mentality of, hey, you're doing well. Why don't you house your brother and his girlfriend that's preggo in a big city? It'll be easier for him to find a job. My concern is with a big city, usually that also means upgraded standard of living or inflated standard of living. So I'm worried that brother might, whether or not he gets the job, I don't know if he'll be able to sustain an actual living for him and his family. It's going to go badly. I'm calling it. Opie says, I've read stories about situations like this being recipes for disaster. And dang, I should have listened. They moved in sometime before Christmas. Both of them did the bare minimum around the house. They washed their own dishes, but only the small ones like plates, glasses, and bowls, leaving the pots and pans for us to clean. They did their own laundry, but that's it. They raided our pantry and fridge without ever restocking anything. Some days I didn't even get a taste of my husband's baked goods. They'd eat the ones he specifically set aside for me. I had to wash dishes that I knew my husband didn't use, even after pulling 2 consecutive shifts at the hospital. I'm a freaking resident. They never vacuumed the second floor where they stayed, never helped take out the trash, even though they filled it to the brim. I usually helped him with it whenever I got time, but I had seen my husband taking out the trash multiple times when I just got home. My emotions went from, oh, wholesome, OP and husband are having such a wonderful relationship, to straight up fury. Level 10 fury. What do you mean? So I doubt they're making the brother pay rent. So, and by what they're saying, they get the entire second floor. From what I'm hearing, from the way like OP's phrasing it, from their home and how the whole setup is being done, they get the whole second floor basically, or at least a good chunk of it, right? They never vacuum. They don't pick up after themselves. And are they children? What do you mean? They clean all the small stuff, but then leave all the pots and pans.
Yeah, that's difficult. You don't want to do that.
Well, why? If you're already washing, my mentality is like, I'm almost more annoyed than if they just left all the dishes untouched at that point, because that tells me you literally went to the fridge, knew that you left a mess, cleaned only the small things like spoons and little bowls and plates, make maybe, and then decided, yeah, those pots and pans I use, nah, I'm gonna just leave it. You can't even justify that as, oh, they forgot about it, or they were just overwhelmed. They forgot to like, just clean their dishes. No, they specifically chose to say F off to the pans and pots. Why? Okay, if I were to pick the hierarchy of things to wash, right? And let me tell you, I used to be the sole dishwasher in my household. It was not great. I did not love it growing up. That's what happens when you're eldest daughter in the household. So I feel OP's pain here. If I were to rank it, I prefer pots and pans first because they're big items. So you feel a sense of accomplishment when they get washed, right? Like you feel like, oh, look, there's progress. And then bowls, plates, and then spoons, forks, chopsticks. And then very last, I would put like, what is it? The strainers and corianders. I hate those things. I hate washing them by hand because little food bits get stuck and then you have to kind of like scrub it out by hand. It sucks. So that's my hierarchy. What's your hierarchy for dishwashing?
um, well, first of all, try to get a dishwasher.
Oh, yes.
Like the machine, not the person dishwasher.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, they do have one. Husband. Opie's husband
Yeah.
here is a dishwasher, the human
In
dishwasher.
any case, I can see washing pots last because
Why?
usually you have limited sink space. So
Okay.
you have if you have a lot of plates in there already, you can't really wash a pot well if you have stuff in there. So you usually put pots and bigger items on the side and you wash the smaller items first, and then you have space for the big items.
I like how efficient you're taking this. Like your approach is so efficient and like based on what's the best way to go about this space wise. And then mine is just, no, I have to trick myself. I have to sabotage my thinking. I have to, what is it? Hypnotize myself into thinking, brainwash myself. Oh, look, there's progress. There's only a few more things left. We're almost there. I don't know. I'm kind of pissed about the dishwashing thing. Oh, no. Worst of all, the biggest offense they have, how dare they eat all of the husband's baked goods? And they don't leave her any. I'm saying so they can leave a pot for her to wash. But no. They can't leave her one single scone or muffin or bread that husband baked. They just clean that out. So clearly they're not allergic to cleaning. They're just very selective about what they choose to clean out. Raiding the pantry and not restocking, that's a crime. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it seems that the OP's brother is he's acting like a golden child.
Yeah.
Seems to be quite entitled, and by extension, I guess his girlfriend too.
Yep. I think so. I'm kind of mad at the mom though, because I think the mom is feeding into the behavior for sure.
Yep.
I will say that if you guys aren't familiar, some Asian households, not all, but some have kind of the tradition of favoring, I want to say, I guess, firstborn son. So they might not be the eldest, but as long as they're the firstborn son, so they might be the youngest in their family, like in this case, and they'll get kind of spoiled or they'll be given more resources or given this like entitlement. So to put some cultural context on that. Ugh, I'm feeling ick. Mm, mm. Now, OP says, I don't expect them to clean the whole house, but come on. Watching my husband limp around with his cane, washing dishes, and taking out the trash while they did nothing? That's just rude, especially when they're living rent free. Aha, so I was right. Rent free living. Of course, I confronted them with a very watered down and gentle version of, Bro, you won't get a job if you can't even help take out the trash. And sis, you're pregnant, but you can at least wash the dishes you use. Both of you have two hands you can wash the cooking utensils you use to make food. Teamwork makes the dream work. You know how there's like, what is the phrase? There's no I in team. In this case, I think team in your household is spelled differently. It's spelled with your husband's name, OP. I just, you're so nice. I would not have been so gentle with it. Obi says they got slightly better after that. Now they wash all their dishes, but don't bother putting them back in the drawers. But hey, progress. Now here's the breaking point. During Chinese New Year, my mother and oldest sister came to visit. My husband went all out with his cooking. I cleaned the entire house and prepared the other guest room for my family. That's when I realized the second floor hadn't been vacuumed in ages. My brother and his girlfriend didn't come out of their room until my family arrived. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. We exchanged greetings, gave my mother her New Year's bow, and sat down for dinner. That's when all hell broke loose. My brother, with confidence straight out of his collar, actually said it was time for my husband to get a real job again because, quote, he can walk now. He added that he's younger but working hard to find a job. Then he really added the words, no offense, before saying, cooking is a weird hobby for a big guy. He's 6'3", like him. And also, he doesn't really have the talent for it.
Oh man.
Oh, wait, what?
The
What?
audacity.
I'm flabbergasted. First off, to bring this up on New Year's, like just matter of fact, like the weather, like, oh, how's the weather? By the way, you should really get a job. Wait, they're the ones telling the husband, Opie's husband, to get a job. I'm going to let that sit for a second because I'm embarrassed. I'm getting mega secondhand embarrassment from this because I cannot just imagine having the lack of self-awareness and saying this out loud. Like thinking is one thing, but then to give it out into the universe and let it hang there. And wait, what's wrong with cooking? Cooking has been around like one of the hobbies, like one of the best hobbies. And to be honest, husband's also turning into a career. So, as we've heard before, but it's been around for the longest time. What's wrong with cooking? Like, you need it to survive. If anything, it's one of the most essential skills ever. No? What does his height have anything to do with his hobby as a cooking man, as a cook or baker? And I don't see them saying that and complaining about him cooking and baking when they ate all of his baked goods. Wait, so they're okay with eating it. They're just not okay with him being tall and baking the goods that they eat. Make it make sense. I'm trying to have the logic make sense for me. And he doesn't really have the talent for, and they said he's bad at it? Then why are you eating the food? Why are you cleaning out their pantry if you don't like what he cooks?
That part is not even the biggest kind of shock to me. I think the biggest shock to me is the part where basically the brother said like, "Yeah, why don't you get a job now?"
Oh, you've been hanging around long
Yeah,
enough. What? Like
him being a freeloader, and it's
rent free, eating all their
uh,
food too.
yeah,
And what's messed up, he's literally saying, I mean, you can kind of walk again. Like, what was it? What was it he said? Oh, because you can walk now. Well, husband's doing a whole lot more than the brother, even though he's struggling with a cane and like barely walking. He's doing way more than the brother with two able-bodied hands and legs.
yeah.
So,
But that's not even the point. That's not even your
no, of course it's not
business.
the point. But I'm
The-
just like flabbergasted that like all of these ironic aspects of it doesn't hit the brother like a ton of bricks. Where he goes, let me think about what I just said. No, just what? Do people like this exist?
Clearly.
I have no doubt in my mind that even if this story is somehow manufactured with such great painful detail, I'm pretty sure this one's real because I have seen families like this in real life. I cannot believe the audacity. Ugh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. This story better have a good ending. Let's see. Let's see. Opie says his girlfriend chimed in. Oh, okay. She's got something to say, saying she feels like my husband is, quote, more feminine than she is because he takes care of the house and cooks better than she does. Of course, the bar is somewhere below Satan's throne if she's the standard. She even said that she and my brother keep asking my husband why he's still at home when it's been years since his accident, and that I'll leave him soon if he keeps being, quote, cooped up in the house. She then whined about how my husband always just smiled at them and never responded. I think even my brother realized that she messed up because he quickly backpedaled, saying it was only once or twice. You know, some people are made for each other. And honestly, brother and the pregnant girlfriend are truly, truly two sides of the same freaking penniless coin. Like, I just cannot contain my rage. What do you mean? So they insulted his cooking. What's funnier to me is she then goes and says, he's too feminine. So one side is saying, no, he can't cook, by the way. He has no talent and eating all their food. But then the other half is saying, no, he cooks so well, he's better than me, and I'm a woman. That makes him feminine. Ew. Wait, what? The logic is not logicking. Do they hear themselves? I think not. And the fact that they have the audacity to pressure husband, and I'm pretty sure this is Opie's first time hearing all of this, but I don't think it's husband's first time hearing these comments. So they've been saying these things well, maybe not passively, but very aggressively towards husband when Opie's not around. To do what exactly? Are they aware that husband's the reason why they're even allowed to be here? Like to stay here? I'm confused because it's partly out of husband's generosity. I'm very baffled by this. Now Opie says, I just stood up, took both their plates, and told them to pack up and leave. I couldn't even look at my husband. I was so pissed and ashamed of them. It took every ounce of self control not to curse them out right then and there. They said I was being too sensitive over harmless comments. My mother tried to diffuse the situation, saying my brother and his girlfriend meant well, that their comments, quote, didn't come from a bad place, and even pointed out that my husband didn't seem offended. So she asked, why ruin a good day? Which I ignored. I even handed them my car keys because I just wanted them gone. They left with my oldest sister after giving my husband a half-hearted apology. She told me they stayed at a motel before returning back to my mother's house. The next day, my older sister came by to pick up my brother's stuff. She laughed a lot about the whole ordeal, and she's the only one who thinks I did the right thing. My husband said he was glad I defended him, but he never took their comments to heart because he knows I love what he's doing, so he suggested I might have been a little harsh. My mother later told me their words weren't a, quote, good enough reason to kick out my struggling brother and pregnant girlfriend. She really emphasized the pregnant part. She said I could have just scolded him like I did over the dishes. Yep, he tattled about that too. I still don't think I'm the a-hole, nor am I overreacting. I'm still pissed off, to be honest, but now I'm second guessing myself because even my husband was so chill about it. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. No, 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 no. Do not let this. Oh, I see what they're all doing. Everyone's making it seem like, why did you blow up over nothing? It's New Year's. Oh, why are you ruining the vibe? Like, oh no. Opie, I'm glad you shut it down really quickly. No, do not let them talk you and gaslight you into thinking this was no big deal and it wasn't from a bad place. Then what place was it from? They insulted his cooking. They insulted what he does at home and how he contributes to your household. They insulted his value in your relationship. At what point is there a good intentions in any of this? Oh no, I'm telling you, they are poisonous people. Your brother and pregnant girlfriend, I don't care that she's pregnant. I'm sorry. Pregnancy does not give you the right to be an absolute massive a hole. No, the entitlement is too much for me. I'm glad you kicked them out. The fact that they scurried back over to a motel and then to mom's house afterwards tells me that it wasn't out of need that they were living with you, that it was out of desire. Like they might be struggling with a job, sure, but mom could have housed them from the very beginning. But I think there were some conversations backdoor that you weren't part of where they said, oh, no, no, no. Opie, you are doing so well. You and your husband, and you guys have a bigger space. It must be cushier to live there. And so they like living there. I'm glad your older sister's got your side, though. I love how she's laughing about the whole thing, like, "Yeah, they deserved it. This is great." I love that you have one person at least on your side. Your husband really is an angel. No, no, he needs to not let this slide. This is not a, "Oh, you were a little harsh." No, he needs to stand on the same page as you and say, "Babe, I'm so glad you defended me. You are not too harsh. You did it just right." I'm surprised you didn't scream at them or yell at them. You were very classy for doing that. Well, for not doing that. What are your thoughts on this so far?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that the brother and his pregnant girlfriend are the biggest a-holes here, but at the same time, I don't want to overlook the mom as well.
Yeah.
I think mom is the big problem here. I think she's
She's an enabler
enabler, but also partly, I think partly the reason why the brother is like that. I don't want to
for
say,
sure.
that yeah, brother is a grown up now, but in any case, that type of mentality of raising him as a golden child, that I can see
Yeah.
that leading to brother being kind of unaware of things like that.
It's almost the feeling of no matter what he says or does, he doesn't have to care for the consequences because, oh, he can just laugh it off. He can just say, "Oh, it's not that big deal." It it feels like he never really felt the consequence of his actions.
Yeah, it seems that OP and OP's older sister are kind of treated as like second class citizens to him.
Yeah,
So no matter what he does,
they're supposed to overlook it.
yeah, basically.
I hate that they're almost being used as, I don't wanna call him like a parasite, but it's almost like a leech. Like, he reminds me of a leech in a way where it doesn't matter how well the sister and OP are doing, how well they're doing is only good if it's to help the brother. That's what it feels like. Like, there's no sense of, like, as a parent, if I were to be a parent, right, and I were in the mom's shoes, I would be so happy for my daughter that despite the tragedy that happened in their relationship, in OP's relationship, that the relationship is still going strong. They support one another. They're financially doing well. Like, it seems like a really happy thing. I would be so happy for my daughter. I'm proud of her. But to turn around and say, "Oh, you're being too harsh on your brother. You need to open up your home to him and his pregnant girlfriend." Come on. Come on. Ugh. And what pisses me off even more, it's so irresponsible because the whole accidental pregnancy thing, come on. I'm kind of side eyeing the brother because you're clearly not prepared to take care of yourself. So how are you going to take care of your family and a kid? I worry for the child. I have no pity for the brother and the pregnant girlfriend, though.
And the cycle continues.
Ugh, it's a cycle of poverty. Oh my gosh. So OP, very clearly not the old, but let's see what the comments say. First comment, not the old, good for you for setting up for your husband and hopefully teaching your ungrateful and lazy brother and his girlfriend a lesson. They need to step it up since they chose to be irresponsible and get pregnant. I can't believe their audacity to say such things at your house where they were living for free. No, it still gets me because, okay, now that the fury is past for me, it's more like just, you know how when you look at someone behaving like a, well, to put it gently, like a clown, and you're just looking at them like it's just, it doesn't warrant words anymore. You just look at them and you're just amused almost like a clown's talking and dancing in front of you. You're just like, oh my gosh, people like this really exist. That's my feeling right now. The way he's like, alrighty, let me bring this up at the family dinner discussion on New Year's. So, brother in law, look, let's be real. Your accident happened years ago. You can walk now. It's time for you to get out there. It's just no shame. No shame. Oh my gosh. Another comment, not they all. This is exactly what you need to do in a situation like this. You wrote the handbook for others. Good job. You and your husband are lucky to have each other. No one else's, especially your mom's opinion, matters. Your mom can take care of her baby boy and his entourage. Ooh, I like that line. It's true. He needs to run back to mommy. Now, there is a very rare update for once to this story. Update. Hello, I never thought I'd write an update to my previous story. I was pleasantly surprised when I woke up this morning to find so many responses. And I want to say thank you to everyone who bothered to read my long post and responded kindly to it. Last night, both my husband and I actually read everyone's responses together. He said that he's thankful for the supportive messages and even blushed a little at the comments calling him a saint. It was cute. Don't tell him I told you guys about it though. Also, I tried to reply to everyone, but I gave up after an hour because I didn't really have enough brain power or finger capacity to do that. I wrote an update in the title, but a big portion of this post will be explanation. So to do that, I want to respond to a few questions I encountered in my previous post. One, did I get my car back? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I forgot about that. So when OP kicked them out, she was actually nice enough to give them her car keys before kicking them out. OP, you and your husband are built from the same cloth. No. Oh, you're so nice. My biggest concern is what if he damages your car or does something reckless with it? So I'm glad she's answering this. Opie says, he never took my car. My sister did. She took it out and drove it to a motel, so my car is safe and sound in my garage. Older sister's the MVP. I'm glad she's the one driving. 2, why did I let him in my house? Honestly, I'm not really close to my family if we go by Asian family standards. You can guess why. I also attended a boarding high school, so I had already moved out by then. During all of my college years, I can count on one hand how many times I came home, only during New Year's for less than a week each time. During semester breaks, I'd look for part time jobs just to avoid going home. I also kept very limited contact, and during those times, I only knew him as a spoiled brat, a mama's boy. He never made any remarks against me or did anything out of line before. I believe, after my father, he's the most wary of me since I was the one who scolded and forced him to apologize to either our mother or older sister multiple times after our father passed. Opie was the real tiger mom in the household, but in a good way. He says, that's why I never expected him to do or say something so outrageous. He also got good grades from a respectable college, so I assumed he'd get a job in no time. Yeah, not with that attitude and mentality. Not, well, I mean, Opie's brother's mentality. She says, prior to my mother asking me to let him stay, she actually asked me to fund his wedding. Snowball's chance in hell. Even when she said it didn't need to be a big one, still, hell no, it'll be easier to split her hair into 7 different parts than making me pay for it. That's why I compromised to avoid a long, dragging series of nagging and grumbling by letting him stay until he got a job. That's one of the biggest missteps I made. Oh, no, no, no. What do you mean? Wait, so you're telling me the lesser of the two evils of the requests for OP was that it was either fund your brother's wedding or let him stay in your house rent free? Was there no in between? Can I pick neither? Both of these options sound horrible. And what do you mean the compromise was, oh, because OP said no the first time to the wedding, her mom went, oh, it doesn't have to be a big one. So if OP said yes, it would have been a huge, extravagant wedding? Um, oh no, OP, I think they're seeing you as a piggy bank. You're like the wallet that keeps on giving. Oh no. I would say you dodged the bullet with saying no to the wedding, but honestly, I agree with you. Misstep was also letting your husband, I mean, not letting the husband, letting the brother into the house in the first place. Oh my goodness. Now, OP says, 3, why did I agree to pay his tuition? Why did I let him take my share of the inheritance? I didn't exactly pay for his tuition. As I mentioned, our father left an inheritance. I told my mother to use my share to pay my brother's tuition. My thought process at that time was that she'd ask for something in return if I ever touched that money, so I'd rather not. If she thinks sending us to school is transactional, then I assumed everything else would be too. I never considered that money mine, so no loss for me. However, I actually needed to avoid her for a few months after my brother got into college because the inheritance was intended to fund our weddings in the future. She gave in rather quickly after I went MIA, though. I did sit him down, made him apologize, and promised that he'd pay it back to our oldest sister after he failed his businesses. But it wasn't my place to forgive or scold him because I had consented to my mother, which equals him, I guess, using my share. Thinking about it, I should have at least held him down for my sister to slap. I don't advocate violence. But if it's happening in a very deserving context, in this one instance, and it's not a threatening slap, if that makes sense, I think, okay, you guys have to agree with me. The brother is very slappable, right? Is he not slappable? Oh, okay. I think it's fair game for OP's inheritance to be up for grabs in a sense for the brother because you know what? She agreed at the time. Okay, so that's what's done is done. But what's sad about this is how OP describes her relationship with her family. Very transactional. I think when people generally talk about parents in media or movies and things like that, it's unconditional, right? But unfortunately, and I think it could be cultural as well, where a lot of Asian households, it feels very transactional. They won't go out and say, oh, I'll shower you with love if you do this. It's almost like, I don't want to say performative, but it feels like it has that connotation of that wave because it's almost like you can listen to your parents all the time, but then the minute you want to act out on your own anyway or make a different choice from what they want, they might say something like, oh, Is this what I raised you for? Or I've done so much for you. Why don't you listen to me? So it feels like that sense of, shoot, now I feel obligated. I feel guilty now because they're my parents. They've done all these things. And now I need to fulfill some sort of unspoken part of the bargain that I never signed up for. So I feel really bad for OP that she feels that way. OP, you're an adult now. And I hope you understand that it shouldn't be transactional. You may have grown up in that environment, but as an adult now, and especially in your relationship with your husband, you don't have to continue that trend. Like, you don't have to continue to feed into that. Now, 4, Opie says, why does my husband, as some of you put it, have no spine? Does someone insult the husband? Not the angel. Opie says, excuse you? My husband's got titanium in his spine, literally and figuratively. Kidding, kidding. I know I didn't add much regarding that matter because I was too focused on what happened prior to and during the height of the problem. Not so much the aftermath nor my husband's perspective, because in my mind, my post was about what I did to them and the motivation behind it. I actually asked him right after that dinner if he really did say nothing and why he didn't tell me that those toilet lid covers had been insulting him. Ew, it's so true. Toilet. They really are toilet lid
Why
covers.
toilet lid? Why they not toilet bowls or something?
Is it because, like, you know, like I'm imagining, like, maybe it's because all the shit flies up to them, so they're full of shit.
I
Like, you
guess.
can flush the bowl and they'll be somewhat usable for next use, right? But you can't. I mean, unless you're scum that toilet lid, it's the grimiest thing there. Mm, maybe that's the thinking. Opie's so clever with her insults. It's so funny. Opie says he was pretty offended that I believed my brother and his girlfriend when they said he didn't respond at all. Nah, he told them off once during New Year's when I was on call. Yes, life sucks. He said something along the lines of, bro, I'm still richer than you even when we're both unemployed. I've got a doctor for a wife who proposed to me when I could do nothing but blink. My life is fine. Just get a job. Rephrased by yours truly because he couldn't remember how he worded it. Wait, what is it? Snaps to that. Like, do people say, like, what is it? Snaps to that, or, oh, like, oh, mic drop. Mic drop for a husband. He went, dude, I'm still richer than you in relationship, financially, in stability in life. My life is still richer than you, even when I could only blink. You tell him. You tell him. Opie says, he said he was laughing when he said this, so maybe that's why my brother didn't take him seriously. But it might still hurt my brother, and that was why he said those things during dinner. But honestly, when I imagine my husband talking like that, it looks scary. Laughing just makes it worse. Kind of hot though, but that's TMI. Excuse me? Things just get steamy. OP, get a room. Get a room. But wait, you don't need to get a room because you guys have plenty of rooms and plenty of space in your big home with that big kitchen. Mm-hmm. Opie says, as to why he didn't tell me, he didn't take it to heart and was too lazy to bring it up. He mentioned that it's still kind of difficult for him to pronounce a lot of words. He compared my brother and his girlfriend's comments to the husky's howls next door. Very handsome dog, by the way. It's already in their nature, so why bother? I did tell him to let me know next time someone disrespects him, though, so that I can finally put the taekwondo skill I gathered during my elementary school years to use. I only got to yellow belt, though, so don't expect much. I do think he's happier about what I did than he lets on. Don't ask me why. 5. Why am I enabling him? I think this is somewhat the real question, but in a way, I think Obi kind of answered this in previous responses. She says, like I said in one of my replies, I did think about it, and I think me avoiding my family as much as possible can be considered enabling him. In my defense, I'm not his parent, so it's not my job to parent him, but I do take accountability for not whacking him enough growing up. That's probably why he's got some screws loose. That's the end of the Q&A session that I made myself. Now, it's only been a week since Chinese New Year and not much has happened. The most notable thing would be I've got my brother and mother blocked on both my and my husband's phones, with consent, of course, after she tried to contact him separately yesterday, asking about the room we intended to renovate. The renovation is still happening because he's already contacted his parents, but there are other people who probably need and deserve it. So he'll just rent it out to someone else later. I just blocked her in his phone without replying when he told me about it. He actually kept asking if it's really okay to cut off my family completely like that, while reassuring me that he's okay and not affected in the slightest every time this topic is being brought up. That's why I'm second guessing myself. But fret not, with the power of the Great Wall of China. OP. I love OP. She's so sweet and with a sense of humor. With the power of the Great Wall of China, my husband's ancestors built, and the turtle ship my ancestors built, I've already guarded my mind, heart, and soul to never backpedal my decision. I'll just think of both my mother and brother as that strand of hair you find on your butt. It's there, but you don't need it. It'll feel even better after plucking it. OP, I feel like you went unhinged. Like you just went so unhinged in this post. Like we're getting a lot of TMI and not just with the situation. See, now I'm thinking about butt hairs. I don't want to be thinking about butt hairs right now. Oh gosh. OP says, I don't know anything else about my brother and his girlfriend because I never bothered to ask over my calls with my sister. But like some of you said, not my problem anymore. I did hear my mother call me boy crazy because I prioritized my husband over my family. But I mean, I'm her daughter, so you can probably guess where I got it from. Oh, shots fired, but hello? Wait, boy crazy is something you call your teenage daughter when she's like reckless and maybe she, I don't know, is foregoing grades and doing dumb things and just talking about boys all the time. But your grown woman of a daughter defending her husband against the lazy, scummy brother, that's your daughter being boy crazy? I'm, well, I guess the rotten apple, hey, the brother, didn't fall that far from the tree in this case. Yikes. He says, we had lots of conversations after reading my previous post and discussed a lot of things from each other's perspectives throughout our relationship. I also apologized once again and asked him if he ever thought of leaving me after the whole fiasco, which I admit really sucked for him. He asked me in return if I remembered telling him to just get fat after proposing to him with a ring that was too big because I bought one the same size as our couple ring. Asian thing. Some of us are sappy like that. Don't judge me. A few days after he woke up, he said if I took a step forward to stay with him when he could do absolutely nothing, why would he even think of leaving me when I did everything in my power to stand by him now? Oh, I'm getting emotional. Someone cut onions. That is so freaking sweet. That better be written in your, or that probably was written in their wedding vows. OP, I am so happy for you and your husband. That's so sweet. Aw. This is real love, guys. This is real love. Oh, he says, I might make mistakes and it might seem like it's not enough for others, but it's more than enough for him. We can always fix it. And like how he ate a lot throughout his recovery so his finger can fit that ring, he'll pick up my slack. So what's the problem? I bawled and I'm currently taking sick leave because my eyes are super swollen. Thanks for reading. Lol, kidding. Not yet, people. I know I talk too much, but the last thing I want to say is I hope everyone who finds themselves in a similar situation knows that it's normal to feel like it's difficult to stand up for yourself. It's okay if it takes some time. Navigating difficult situations isn't exactly a walk in the park. And if you decide to go through it, that act of navigating and standing up for yourself is what will be added to your value as a human being. You made a mistake, managed to fix it, and learned from it. It's easier said than done, and that's why it's something to be proud of. So keep your chin up and hang in there. Now, for real, thanks for reading. I hope you guys have a great year ahead of you. I feel like I just got Reddit read too by OP. Usually I'm in the hot seat, quote unquote, in terms of sharing my judgment and my thoughts with you guys and discussing with you guys. But I love how OP kind of, after she got her, little approval from the internet, or big approval, I should say, for her and husband, she went to full explanation mode, analytics mode. I see how she's so accomplished. I feel the professionalism bleeding through the post, to be honest. How she arranged it nicely in order, numerical order too. And then she ends it with so nicely with a, by the way, guys, let this be a sign for you guys. Stand up for yourself. Oh, that's such a sweet post. Now we got some comments. First comment, wow, your mom truly has such a thick skin to be able to ask your hubby about still letting your brother stay in the renovated room after all that. Lol, amazing. OP, you and your husband sound like a true relationship goals. Wishing you both the best and hopefully hubby's bakery dreams come true soon. I have no doubt they'll succeed. I mean, they're already successful now, but I mean, in terms of bakery, if they have such a strong mindset as a couple, I just truly think that they'll succeed no matter what. So maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe someday we'll get an update from OP saying, hey, come visit my hubby's bakery. We just opened somewhere. Like, I would visit. I would visit if I can. Oh, I love this so much. Okay, quick moment on the fact that, wait, I love how, so OP basically cut all contact. Then mom decides the priority here is not to mend the relationship between her and her daughter. But no, 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 no. It's to go around or try to go around her daughter, contact the husband one-on-one and say, so, about that room about that house you're renovating for my son. Oh, tone deaf much? What do you mean? What? Like, I think that just spoke volumes. And that was just the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, of she doesn't care about her daughters at all. To do that, in her mind, it was like on the scale, I'm thinking, oh, my son needs to have a nice place to live versus, oh, my daughter currently hates me for what I did. Reasonably so. Relationship can go somewhere. But that house though, I need that renovated house. Another comment, wow, what a ride. First off, definitely not the. It sounds like you've been doing your best in a super tough situation. Your updates are honestly more gripping than my last binge watch. True. You're managing boundaries like a pro, and it's great to hear that your husband is backing you up with his own brand of humor and titanium spine. You've handled the drama with your brother and the family dynamics with such strength and clarity. It's seriously impressive. It's clear that you're not just taking steps to protect your peace, but also make sure your relationship with your husband stays strong amidst the chaos, which is really the most important part. The quote, strand of hair on your butt analogy had me rolling. But seriously, it's great that you're prioritizing what's best for your immediate family, you and your husband, and not letting guilt or manipulation sway you. Keep standing your ground and don't let anyone make you doubt your decisions. You're doing amazing, and your commitment to each other is what will always matter most. Here's to a year of less drama and more happiness for you both. Cheers to setting boundaries and sticking to them. I couldn't have said it better. I love this story. I think this is one of my favorite Reddit stories ever to read to you guys. Yeah, I think this one goes up in our own little Honey Hearts Hall of Fame for sure. What are your thoughts on this?
Interesting story.
Would you defend me like that if I had a titanium spine or I was limping with a cane?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to make sure we're ending with a bang. And I hope you really enjoyed that last one. We had a full update, all the details, all the juicy, nitty gritty analogies as well. A little bit TMI at times, but I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe, guys. Although, if you're listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.